a young mother, an unsuspecting house, and an entity filled with pure malevolence. What began as strange noises soon spiraled into a nightmare. Imagine objects moving on their own, shadowy figures appearing from the darkness, and the horrifying threat of being strangled by unseen hands. This is no Hollywood movie, this is the San Pedro Haunting. In today's video, we unravel one of the most terrifying and violent hauntings ever documented, where a mother named Jackie Hernandez became the center of relentless, inexplicable terror. What drove this entity to fixate on her? What horrifying incidents unfolded within those walls? And what evidence was left behind for skeptics and believers alike? Get ready, because this story will shake you to your core and make you question what might be lurking in the shadows of your own home. Part 1. What events led to the discovery of the San Pedro Haunting? It was 1989 when Jackie Hernandez, a young mother in her late 20s, moved into a modest two-bedroom house in San Pedro, California. Newly single after a painful divorce, Jackie was desperate for a fresh start, a place where she and her two young children could find stability and happiness. She envisioned laughter echoing in the halls and her kids playing in the backyard. At first, the house seemed perfect. With its warm paint and cozy layout, it felt like home. But shortly after they settled in, things began to change. Strange noises punctuated the quiet of the night. Soft knocks, creaks, and whispers. Jackie dismissed them as the sounds of an old house settling, but deep down, an unease began to creep in. One evening, as she prepared dinner, a sudden crash in the living room startled her. Rushing in, she found her family photo frame shattered on the floor, though she had been alone at the time. Jackie felt an icy chill sweep over her. It was as if the air itself had thickened with dread. The unsettling feeling was hard to shake, but she convinced herself that it was just her imagination. However, the disturbances escalated quickly. Furniture would inexplicably move, dishes flew from the shelves, and strange liquids began seeping from the walls. One night, as she tucked her children into bed, a loud thump echoed from the attic, sending her heart racing. When she dared to investigate, she found nothing but darkness waiting in the shadows. Desperate for answers, Jackie confided in friends and family. Some offered sympathy, while others scoffed at her fears, suggesting that stress was playing tricks on her mind. But Jackie was determined not to let this unknown force disrupt her family's life. When a neighbor suggested contacting paranormal investigators, Jackie hesitated but felt she had no choice. That's when Barry Conrad, a local filmmaker, and Dr. Barry Taff, a respected parapsychologist, became involved. They arrived equipped with cameras, recording equipment, and a determination to uncover the truth behind these mysterious events. But little did they know, they were about to encounter one of the most terrifying hauntings ever documented. Part 2, Who was Jackie Hernandez and why was she the focus? Jackie Hernandez was more than just a victim. She was a single mother trying to piece her life back together. After a difficult separation, she was grappling with emotional turmoil, fears of failure, the pressure to provide for her children, and the haunting memories of her past. Jackie hoped this new home would offer a fresh start, but instead it became a battleground for something far more sinister. Dr. Barry Taff theorized that Jackie's intense emotional state was attracting the haunting phenomena. His concept of recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis suggested that extreme stress could unleash psychic energy, potentially triggering paranormal activity. This theory proposed that Jackie's subconscious might be manifesting her fears and frustrations in the form of a malevolent spirit. As the investigators delved deeper into Jackie's past, they uncovered layers of trauma, loss, abandonment, and anxiety. Jackie had faced significant challenges before moving into the San Pedro house, including a difficult upbringing marked by instability. The more they learned about her struggles, the more they believed that Jackie was not just an innocent bystander, she was intricately linked to the haunting itself. Jackie's children, though young, also sensed the tension in the house. They reported seeing things that made their imaginations run wild: shadowy figures flitting past doorways, strange whispers in the dark. These innocent observations only added to Jackie's fears. Could her children be in danger? As the investigators gathered information, they noted a pattern. The activity seemed to intensify when Jackie was feeling particularly stressed or anxious. The energy in the house was undeniably connected to her emotional state, fueling the disturbances and making her a focal point for the entity's wrath. Part 3: The most terrifying incidents. The San Pedro Haunting wasn't just a collection of spooky noises, it was a full-on assault on Jackie's reality. One of the most chilling incidents occurred when the investigators set up equipment in the attic. Jeff Wheatcraft, a photographer and part of Dr. Taff's team, entered the dimly lit space, determined to capture evidence of the paranormal. As he adjusted his camera, he felt a sudden rush of cold air, followed by an oppressive weight in the atmosphere. Then, without warning, he was violently pulled upward, as if an unseen force was trying to hang him. He barely managed to escape the attic, shaken and gasping for breath, recounting that it felt like something was trying to drag him into the darkness. Another night, Jackie was jolted awake by a feeling of suffocation. Panic seized her as she realized her bed covers were being pulled tightly over her face. The sensation of an invisible force pressing down on her made it hard to breathe. Struggling against the covers, Jackie fought against the unseen entity, her heart racing with terror. She could feel the darkness swirling around her, whispering promises of despair. Throughout the investigation, Jackie reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the corners of her home. One particularly terrifying encounter involved her seeing a pale face peeking through a crack in the wall, grinning menacingly. This twisted grin sent chills down her spine and solidified her belief that whatever was haunting her was indeed malicious. The children also experienced terrifying encounters. One night, Jackie overheard her youngest daughter screaming in the night. Rushing into her room, she found her daughter trembling and pointing to the corner, where a dark shape seemed to be watching them. "Mommy, it won't leave me alone," her daughter cried, reinforcing Jackie's worst fears. Dr. Taff's team documented these events with meticulous care, capturing everything from eerie audio to unsettling video footage. This wasn't just a haunting. It was a violent, intelligent force targeting Jackie and her family in ways that defied explanation. Part 4: Evidence captured: photos, audio recordings, and more. As the investigation progressed, Dr. Taff's team captured chilling evidence of the paranormal activity. Photographs taken during their visits revealed eerie anomalies: ghostly mists swirling in the air and shadowy figures caught in the corners of the frames. Each image sent shivers down the spines of those who viewed them. One particularly haunting photograph showed an outline of a figure standing in the hallway, almost translucent, yet undeniably present. Viewers couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them, feeding off their fear. Audio recordings, known as electronic voice phenomena, captured disembodied voices responding to questions posed by the investigators. One particularly chilling clip recorded a voice whispering, "Get out," while another ominously stated, "We're watching you." These voices seemed to echo through the house, resonating with Jackie's deepest fears. Perhaps the most disturbing evidence came from a video recording where a chair appeared to slide across the floor on its own. The investigators watched in disbelief as the chair moved several feet without any visible force acting upon it. They played it back multiple times, trying to debunk what they had seen, but each time, the evidence remained undeniable. Dr. Taff analyzed the data meticulously, confirming that these recordings and images were not simply products of imagination or misinterpretation. He noted fluctuations in electromagnetic fields and temperature drops during certain events, pointing to a highly charged atmosphere surrounding Jackie's emotional state. Even skeptics who viewed the evidence were left questioning. Could this truly be the work of a ghost, or was there something more? The tension mounted as the haunting showed no signs of abating. Part 5. Dr. Barry Taff's role in investigating the haunting. Dr. Barry Taff's involvement in the San Pedro Haunting was pivotal. As a seasoned parapsychologist with years of experience investigating paranormal phenomena, Taff approached the case with a blend of scientific rigor and open-minded curiosity. Armed with an array of tools to measure electromagnetic fields, temperature fluctuations, and environmental changes, Taff sought to uncover the truth behind the disturbances. During his investigations, he not only recorded phenomena, but also engaged in interviews with Jackie and her family, attempting to grasp the psychological dimensions of the haunting. Taff believed that understanding Jackie's emotional state was crucial to unlocking the mystery of the haunting. He theorized that the spirit or entity was somehow intertwined with her past, feeding off her anxiety and fear. In one chilling interview, Jackie recounted a particularly horrifying experience. She described a night when she awoke to see a tall, dark figure looming over her bed, its features obscured by shadows. As she gasped in fear, the figure seemed to dissipate, but not before she felt a hand wrap around her throat, choking her. This incident left her shaken and questioning her own sanity. Dr. Taff documented each chilling encounter, emphasizing that this case was unlike any he had previously encountered. The intensity of the activity, coupled with the psychological components, presented a unique challenge for him and his team. They became not only investigators but also advocates for Jackie, helping her navigate the emotional turmoil brought on by the haunting. In one of his most unsettling findings, Taff noted that the entity seemed to follow Jackie, manifesting its terror even when she relocated. This was a haunting that refused to be confined to a single place. It was a relentless pursuit of its target. Each move she made only seemed to draw the entity closer, amplifying the fear that gripped her life. Part 6. The Aftermath. Jackie struggles and attempts to find peace. The haunting took a significant toll on Jackie's mental health. As the days turned into weeks, her anxiety and paranoia spiraled out of control. Sleep-deprived and terrified, Jackie found it increasingly difficult to care for her children, who were also traumatized by the supernatural events. Desperate for relief, Jackie sought help from various religious leaders, hoping for a blessing or an exorcism to rid her home of the malevolent force. Each attempt was met with mixed results, leaving her feeling frustrated and hopeless. The entity seemed to mock her efforts, escalating its activities whenever she sought assistance. At one point, Jackie considered moving away, believing that distance might put an end to the relentless torment. But the thought of uprooting her children and starting over again felt like admitting defeat. Instead, she chose to confront the darkness head-on, working with Dr. Taff and his team to better understand the nature of the haunting. Through interviews and therapy sessions, Jackie began to confront the trauma that had plagued her for years. Dr. Taff encouraged her to focus on her emotional healing as a way to weaken the entity's grip on her life. As she started to open up about her past, sharing her fears and vulnerabilities, there were glimmers of hope. Dr. Taff noted a decrease in activity during sessions when Jackie expressed her feelings openly. It was as if acknowledging her pain helped to weaken the entity's hold over her. However, the peace was temporary, and the struggle continued. Part 7. The historical connections to the location. As investigators pieced together Jackie's experience, they also looked into the history of the San Pedro area itself. Was there something in the very soil that might explain the haunting? Research revealed a disturbing past, stories of tragedy and loss that seemed to echo through time. The home where Jackie lived had once been a site of conflict during the tumultuous periods of California's history. In the late 1800s, the area saw an influx of settlers, many of whom faced hardships, loss, and sometimes death. Ghostly legends of those who perished in the surrounding lands began to circulate, hinting at spirits that may linger, tethered to the earth by their untold stories. Moreover, several reports surfaced about prior inhabitants of the home experiencing similar disturbances. Was Jackie merely the latest victim of a haunted legacy? The evidence suggested that the house itself had absorbed the sorrow and fear of those who had come before, creating a perfect storm for the manifestation of poltergeist activity. Part 8. The continuing activity after Jackie moved out. When Jackie finally made the heart-wrenching decision to leave the San Pedro house, she hoped it would bring her the peace she desperately sought. However, the haunting did not end with her departure. New tenants reported unsettling experiences, objects moving inexplicably, strange noises at night, and even sightings of shadowy figures. One family, unaware of the house's dark past, moved in excitedly, only to be met with a barrage of paranormal phenomena. Children cried at night, claiming they saw the monster in the hallway. Frustrated and frightened, the new occupants sought help, ultimately discovering Jackie's harrowing story and the extensive documentation left behind by Dr. Taff's team. Investigators returned to the house, determined to uncover why the entity persisted. Their findings revealed an undeniable connection between the land and the restless spirit. Could it be that the energy from Jackie's emotional turmoil had left a mark, creating an echo that continued to haunt the space? The question hung heavy in the air. Would the San Pedro haunting ever truly end? Part 9. Debunking or explanations, scientific and psychological theories. Despite the compelling evidence and chilling accounts, skeptics of the San Pedro haunting suggested that the events could be explained through psychological means. Some researchers argued that Jackie's emotional state might have triggered sleep disturbances, auditory hallucinations, or even collective psychogenic responses from her children. These theories raised questions about the reliability of eyewitness accounts and the role of stress in amplifying perceptions of the supernatural. While some experts attempted to debunk the case as a product of anxiety and environmental factors, others maintained that the sheer volume of evidence made a solid case for genuine paranormal activity. Dr. Taff himself remained open to both perspectives. He emphasized the importance of a thorough investigation that took into account both psychological and environmental factors. The truth might lie in a delicate balance between human emotion and the unknown forces lurking just beyond the veil. The San Pedro haunting leaves us with more questions than answers. Jackie Hernandez's life was irrevocably changed by her experiences in that house, which became a prison of terror instead of a sanctuary. The lingering paranormal activity and the history of the location deepen the mystery, leaving us to ponder what truly lies beyond our understanding. Thank you for joining us as we explored this chilling tale. If you found this story as haunting as we did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share it with others who might enjoy the paranormal. Let us know in the comments if you believe in hauntings, or if you think there's a rational explanation behind these terrifying events. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, sometimes the things we cannot see are the most terrifying of all.